3,000. Yes, perfect. And how many the number of Muslims? 700. 700. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. He will take all the gifts today. Yes, so all the rewards he will take it. So once 3,000 for the disbelievers and 700 for the Muslims at that time. And even the people of Quraysh prepared for the battle. They took almost like 1 year and 1 week. Okay, so 1 year and 1 week till they prepared themselves and they started to collect the money from everywhere. And we mentioned last time they searched for someone to support them with donation, with the armors. Who gave them the armors? Do you remember the name of the tribe? Tihama. Yes, the tribe of Tihama. They gave them the armors, and the people of Quraysh weren't experts in manufacturing the armors. That is why they used to take it, they used to export it from Syria, from Sham. And they prepared themselves. And who was the leader? Who was the leader? Abu Sufyan ibn Harb, and he was in the Battle of Badr, the leader of the caravan, who escaped with the caravan. But now he prepared the army, and then when he wanted to put the formation of the army, he was in the middle, and who was on the right hand, on the right side? Khalid ibn Walid, and the other one, Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl. Ikrimah, the son of Abu Jahl. And also, he prepared, and Rasulullah ﷺ, he got the news that the army started to move from Mecca, from Quraysh to Medina. And who gave the news to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ? Al-Abbas ibn Abdul Muttalib, his uncle. And he wasn't a Muslim. He was a Muslim, but in secret. He didn't tell anybody about his Islam, about his conversion to Islam. And not only Al-Abbas, but also we have some of the Muslims in the way between Mecca and Medina. They started to give the news to Rasulullah ﷺ, and let's speak in details. The news came to the Prophet ﷺ by Tuesday in Shawwal, in 12th of Shawwal, Tuesday, 12th of Shawwal. So Rasulullah ﷺ got the news at night, and he invited them to the meeting. And what we call this meeting in Arabic? Shura. Shura, the consultation. So the consultation or the Shura happened by Wednesday, and he sallallahu alaihi wasallam prepared the plan by Thursday, and by Jumu'ah he gave his khutbah and he started to announce to everyone the consultation. The meeting was so private, so by Wednesday he had a special meeting for a little number of the Sahaba. But Jumu'ah, after Jumu'ah, he started to have a bigger shura, a bigger consultation with the meeting. It was almost with the whole number of the Muslims inside the masjid. And we spoke about something, if you remember, they had janazah. You remember? They had janazah in the masjid after Jumu'ah. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ asked some of the Ansar, some of his family members, to go to the janazah. He would not be able to join them. That is why he stayed ﷺ at the masjid with the Sahaba to start planning over for the war or the battle. They decided, and you know the two opinions at that time, the opinion from the youth group and opinion from the leader of the Sahaba. They said, we need to stay at Medina. We don't need to go outside of Medina, outside the borders of the city of Medina. And we will protect Al-Medina from inside. And it was the opinion of Rasulullah ﷺ too. But the youth group, they insisted on to go outside. They decided we need to go outside, and they were the majority. And subhanAllah, many lessons in that incident. Number one, you have to listen to the youth group. Number two, they will be the majority. Number three, when they will be the majority and they have certain opinion, you have to follow it. And number four, when you have shura, you have to respect the shura. You have to respect it to build the Muslim community. And at that time, the shura came to the opinion of the youth group, and Rasulullah ﷺ, after he gathered the whole information, he decided ﷺ to move right after Salatul Asr. So now you have the chronological, the incidents in order, starting from Tuesday got the news at night, Wednesday the private meeting, Thursday gathering the information and putting the plan, Friday having the shura enlarged, the shura with the whole community. After Asr, directly after Asr, he started sallallahu alaihi wasallam to move from Al-Medina to the borders of Al-Medina. We mentioned something about how Allah protected Al-Medina. Do you know what? Do you know how? So in the east they have mountains, in the west they have mountains, from behind, from south they have what?
Palm trees.
Yes, the palm trees, and just in the northwest, we have the mountain of Uhud. So can you imagine now, the city in the middle, and we have northwest, we have the mountains of Uhud. And one of the issues we spoke about Uhud is a mountain from Al-Jannah. Rasulullah said that in the authentic hadith. And we mentioned the three hadiths that Rasulullah mentioned about Jabal Uhud, about the mountains of Uhud. Rasulullah when he got outside Al-Medina, he decided to go secretly without telling anyone about his place. That is why Rasulullah started to move from Al-Medina to the direction of Uhud. And he didn't choose the main way, the highway, He chose another way, another road, to hide the army, not to let the people of Quraysh know about his number, about how they prepared themselves, even about the place that he wanted for camping, And that is why he chose another road. One of the stories happened while he is walking. You know, at that time, in Medina, Rasulullah started to have the hypocrites. And who was the leader? Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul, the leader of the hypocrites, the leader of the munafiqeen. But one of the munafiqeen too was blind. He was blind, he cannot see. And he was too old man. But he has a certain property, certain land. The Sahaba passed by him. And he wanted just to disturb the Muslims. He started to ask, who is those people who are marching? It seems like they have army. It seems there is army walking here, nearest to me. Who is that? Muhammad going to meet the people of Quraysh? Why are you going? Why you need to kill them? Let them take revenge. One of the hypocrites, and he is a Muslim. He is a Muslim. He declares Islam. But he started to attack Rasulullah and the Sahaba. Even some of the narrations said that he started to take the rocks and some of the pebbles, to throw it towards the Prophet Muhammad and the Sahaba. Some of the Sahaba got angry. And they decided they wanted to kill him. Rasulullah said he needs to expose the Muslims' army news, and he wanted to tell the people of Quraysh they are in a state of war. Some of them took his sword and he wanted to kill him. Rasulullah said, no, he's an old man. And he said, أعمى البصر والبصيرة. He is blind, not only in his eyes, but also his heart is blind. So it is called أعمى البصر, the eyes, the sight, al-basira, his heart. So he is not only blind in his eyes, but also his heart is blind. And they left him. Rasulullah ﷺ went, and he went ﷺ to the place of Uhud. He chose ﷺ the place of the battle, and he ﷺ chose one of the mountains, one of the high mountains, to be in their back, to be in their behind. That is why ﷺ started to organize, to arrange the army, and he ﷺ wanted to choose one of the Sahaba to give him the leadership. He was the leader ﷺ, but at the right side, he wanted to give the liwa, or the slogan of the Muslims, to one of the Sahaba. And who was the chosen one? Hamza, the uncle of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, Hamza ibn Abd al-Muttalib. And not only this, Rasulullah ﷺ chose 50 men, 50 archers. The 50 archers, he gave them a special mission. Those people who are throwing the arrows, the Prophet ﷺ put them on that mountain, and he said, this is a warning, and this is the command from Rasulullah ﷺ. If you saw us, the birds eating our bodies, don't come. Don't come to protect us. Even if you saw the victory, even if we are defeated, don't come to save us. Don't go down till I tell you by myself. Now it's clear. If you saw the birds eating our bodies, don't come. I'm afraid maybe the enemies come behind us and attack us. So don't leave the mountain. So the command was for 50 men, the archers, to stay on the mountain. Don't come down till I tell you by myself. Now it's clear. He ﷺ started to prepare. And you know something? There is departments in the armies, even right now, even I think in America or any country, if they are going to a war or a battle, they have department for motivation. How you will motivate them. We got before the news how Quraysh decided to motivate the army. Do you know what? Do you know how? How they will motivate the army?
They have their women?
Yes. They took their women with them to keep, singing and encouraging them and urging them to fight till the end. And it is something not easy to take your family with you. It will push you out to do the best that you can offer. That is why Rasulullah ﷺ started to have another way to motivate the Sahaba. What is the way that Rasulullah ﷺ used? He gave them started to recite parts of the Quran. And this is completely different than the disbelievers. The disbelievers started to have the women to participate, but Rasulullah ﷺ decided to motivate them with the Quran. And not only this, he raised his hand ﷺ with his sword. Can you imagine the sword of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ? So it's a blessed sword. He raised his sword and he said, who has the ability to take my sword and fight with it? So it is a gift, but who can take it? But if you will fight with my sword, you have to fight with its condition. There is a condition to take the sword of Rasulullah. After all of them raised their hands, when they heard that there is a condition to take the sword of Rasulullah, they put their hands down. And they started to ask, what is the condition? إِلَّا بِحَقِّهِ. What is the condition to take your sword, Ya Rasulullah? He said, either you fight with it till you break it, till you break the sword, or to be killed as a martyr. So you have two options. Number one, to kill and to fight with the sword of Rasulullah till you break the sword of Rasulullah Muhammad himself, or to be killed as a martyr in the battle. This is the condition. One of the Sahaba raised his hand. His name is Abu Dujana. Inshallah, we will come to the next time to know who is Abu Dujana. A very interesting story. You need to know about Abu Dujana. A great warrior, and he did a lot in the Battle of Uhud. So Rasulullah ﷺ also started to organize the army, and they were by Friday night. So at Friday night, he prepared ﷺ everything, and they slept in the place of Uhud. By Saturday early in the morning, Rasulullah ﷺ led them in the Salat al-Fajr, and by the sunrise, they started to see the battle of the army of Quraysh or the disbelievers. And now it will literally start the war. They will start fighting each other. And when Rasulullah ﷺ saw them, he started to send some of the Sahaba to tell them why you came. Now you came face to face, and we need to know exactly why you came. They replied, we came to take revenge. He ﷺ started to negotiate with them. Why you came to kill us? Just for revenge? You killed us before in Mecca. You robbed our properties, our money, and you stole everything. So why? And also, in Badr, we didn't come to you, but you came to us. What do you expect? If you wanted to kill us, we just defended ourselves. So again, why you came? And who was giving the reply? Sufyan, Abu Sufyan. Finally, Abu Sufyan said, we came for nothing but to kill you, Muhammad. Now it's clear. He was trying to find excuses, but he didn't find. And now he said it clearly. We came just to kill you, Muhammad, and to end your religion, to end your da'wah. As I told you last time, Ghazwat Uhud, the battle of Uhud, was the first battle between Islam and Kufr. Ghazwat Badr wasn't like this. It was for another reason, to protect the caravan, and it has many reasons. But the battle of Uhud was clearly against Islam. Again, it was the first battle against Islam. Just on the side, wanted to ask you, what is the last battle against Islam? And I don't need answers. And do you think the battles against Islam finished? No. What sort of battles right now? And who is leading? We had Abu Sufyan, but who is the leader of these kinds of battles and wars? I don't need answers. Just give it. Yes. Just give it. So this is the main idea. If you think that kind of animosity, it's finished, you don't know anything about the right and false. You don't know about evil and good. You don't know anything about the reality of the life itself. That is why Rasulullah ﷺ sent him, you need to end Islam. It is not my religion. It is not my religion. I'm not the owner of the religion. It is the religion of Allah. And He will protect His religion. That is why they decided to start the war. But take it in consideration that Rasulullah ﷺ offered the peace for them, but they refused. They started the battle, they started the war, and at that time, Hamza, he was in the right side, and Hamza did a great job in this war. And they, at the beginning, they started, Rasulullah ﷺ did a great plan in this war, in this battle. He ﷺ chose a place for them to have a narrow entrance. He chose a certain place between two mountains to squeeze them in. They have large number, 3,000 against 700. So what is the idea? He chose a very narrow entrance. If they wanted to kill the Muslims, they have to pass by this narrow entrance. So they will squeeze themselves and they will decrease the number who are entering. So he chose another group of the archers to just hunt them by their arrows if they entered from this narrow entry. That is why it was like a trap. So the Muslims made it easy for themselves to face that number, and with that gate, the narrow gate, their numbers, it became meaningless. So no problem if you are facing 3,000, 40,000, no problem. As long as they have the narrow gate like this, it will be easy for them to meet them face to face. And they started to kill them one after one, even through the archers or through the fighters of the Sahaba, one by one, and they started to defeat them. Till the disbelievers believed that they already lost the war and lost the battle. But we have another one. Who is that man? Khalid ibn Walid. Khalid ibn Walid, he was so smart, was so intelligent. He found that there is archers protecting the Sahaba. And after the archers felt that they already got the victory and they defeated the disbelievers, they started to move from their place and they disobeyed Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. At that time, Khalid ibn Walid grabbed the chance. He grabbed it very well, and he moved around that mountain, and he came climbing the mountain. He took the place of the archers, and he started to kill the Muslims from behind. And this is the result of disobeying Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When they obeyed him, they got the victory. And it gives us the message nowadays. How many archers we have in our ummah nowadays? Yes. There were 50. Just by that number, 50 men disobeyed Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they lost the victory in the battle. So what about us right now? How many archers we have in our ummah? Just answer this question and you will know why the Muslims are not achieving any victory right now. And Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu said, إِنَّمَا نَنْتَصِرُ عَلَى أَعْدَائِنَا بِإِيمَانِنَا. We got the victory upon our enemies just with our iman. And they defeat us if we lost our iman. If we lost our deen. Subhanallah. The archers left their positions, left the place, and they came down to celebrate with the Muslims that we already got the victory. Khalid ibn Walid came with that trick, and he started to kill the Muslims, and some of the false news, some of the fabricated news. And this is one of the weapons that Abu Sufyan himself used in the battle. He started to create the fabricated news that they killed Rasulullah. to weaken the Muslims' desire, to weaken them to be able to kill the Muslims. They started to spread the news, we killed Rasulullah, and when Khalid ibn al-Walid with his group started to kill the Muslims now get, they get interrupted and they couldn't complete the battle. Some of them couldn't even figure which section, which group that he is in. Now the Raws get mixed with the disbelievers, so there is no organization, there is nothing at all, and they even missed Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam at that time, he was surrounded by just a small number of the Sahaba. We will mention their names in details. One of them is Zubayr ibn al-Awwam radiallahu anhu, and he defended the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it was so offensive to try to protect Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam just with five men, and they wanted to kill Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam at that time, he was fighting with the Sahaba, he was protecting the Muslims, and they tried to protect Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have another man, his name is Imara, and his mom came to the battle. Her name is Umara. She came to protect the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wallahi, she came to protect him. She came to save the Prophet. A woman got the news that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had been killed. She didn't believe. And she said, he didn't finish his mission yet as Rasulullah. So how they can kill him? They came to save the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we have another one played an essential role in the battle, Hamza ibn Abd al-Muttalib, the uncle of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One of the ladies who attended the battle with the disbelievers was Hind bint Utbah, and Hind came to take the special revenge from Hamza, the uncle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She got another one, she paid to him, and his name is Wahshi, to kill Hamza, the uncle of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Inshallah, next week we will continue how they wanted to kill Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and what Hamza already did. Hamza wasn't easy to kill him. It wasn't easy for Wahshi to kill Hamza. He tried many times. Even that Wahshi didn't participate in the battle at all. Just his one mission, to kill Hamza. He didn't participate. And he tried many times. And maybe the surprise today, that Hamza, that Wahshi, the one who killed the uncle of Rasulullah, later on, he converted to Islam. Wahshi, that killer, converted to Islam. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to enter to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam just to forgive him. And he sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the first time he saw Wahshi after conversion to Islam, he said, "Ahlan biqatil ammi," welcome the man who killed my uncle. So, can you tell if someone killed your uncle to tell him welcome? Welcome? Subhanallah. Welcome with the man who killed my uncle. Inshallah, next time we will speak in more details, inshallah, about Wahshi and about Hamza and what Hind did after the killing of Hamza. And also, did Hind convert to Islam? She came to Islam or not? And we will give the full story about Hind, inshallah. Jazakallahu khairah. And inshallah, we need to make dua to Dr. Rahim, inshallah. His wife will make a surgery by Tuesday. So inshallah, we need to make dua to Allah to make it easy for her and give her shifa. Allahumma ameen. Allahumma shfiha ya Rabb al-Alameen. Allahumma shfiha wa afiha ya Rabb al-Alameen. Allahumma aslih lana sha'naha warzuqha ya Rabb shifaan kafiyan warzuqha عافية يا رب العالمين. اللهم أصلح لها شأنها واشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين يا رب العالمين. اللهم اشفها شفاء لا يغادر سقما، اللهم اشفها شفاء لا يغادر سقما يا رب العالمين، إنك على كل شيء قدير. وصل اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.